Hello. Today I wanted to make a video talking about is SWTOR, Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO, worth playing as a free-to-play player in 2025? Now, the answer actually isn't as simple as a yes or no. So, through this video, I'm going to list my pros and cons and the limitations and stuff like that. And at the end, I'll give my answer or my take on it. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I went all this year, and so some time in December, I spent going from 1 to 40 as a free-to-play player. Now, you're like, why didn't you go to endgame? Um, Honestly, and this is probably like the biggest issue that I had with the game. As a free-to-play player, you can't wear anything other than blue gear. You actually have to pay either an absorbent amount of in-game currency or real money to unlock the ability to wear anything higher than blue. Now that's pretty much the trend as a free-to-play player. Starting off with let's see, where is it? Unlocks. Let's see, category unlocks. All right, so now there are a lot of things in that we're gonna go over, but we're gonna go this one by one. Artifacts, artifact equipment. Subscriber, yeah. This authorization allows you to equip and use most artifact quality gear and item modifications. Now, if it's a subscriber perk, that means literally any gear quality above blue, purple, and legendary, whatever else comes out after that. It also applies to PvP stuff. So, and my issue with this is that it makes it incredibly hard to go through any of the game's content. Honestly, it's just a real pain in the ass because I have to play a class that I'm not really interested in or whatever, just because it's probably a more easier route because of all the stealth and stuff. Unfortunately, I picked a class that I thought was gonna have an easy time, which didn't. Had a terrible time. Had a real terrible time. Probably not as terrible as the melee would have, but gear is very important in this game. It's not really the type of game, in my experience, that you cannot do without. Like the gear is very important, and being cucked to only being able to use blue gear um, is throughout the entirety of your entire playthrough is a pain in the ass. Now, the whole caveat that some people will say, well, you can buy everything on the auction house. Yes, but and that's a severe but. Like I'm an ass guy, and this is a big but. You have not only do you have to rely on other players to actually buy that unlock with their real money off the auction house or off the cartel market and put it on the auction house. Any amount of any any unlocked on my server, at least any unlock is insanely expensive. And the cheapest one I saw was about 14 million. And I did from 1 to 40, I did literally every single quest, every heroic I could. Multiple dungeon runs, and that's something else we'll get into in a bit. Multiple dungeon runs, sold everything I had, and I still probably got about 400k credits in the time that I've spent playing this as a free to play, and that is just Ugh. Like, bro, it's really bad. So, all right, now another situation that I want to talk about is the crafting as a free to play player. Now, this also limits my amount of money that I can make. As I said earlier, as I just said, I only made about 400, probably 400, 450K doing everything that I could within the time frame that I've been playing, and that was greatly reduced by multiple factors. I'm going to talk about one of them now, which is the crafting profession. Apparently, as a free to play person, you are only allowed one profession. It doesn't matter if it's a gathering profession or a crafting profession, you are only allowed one profession, which is the asininest thing to do, honestly. Every, everything that this game is now, regardless of it changing companies or not, still screams that it's really just a cash cow for them. That's literally all this is. It's a cash cow. It's they. It feels like they don't care about the game anymore. It feels like they don't care about delivering on the Star Wars experience. It's just an easy way to get money from nostalgic Star Wars hardcore fans who will literally buy anything that Star Wars added to it, unfortunately. Um, and that greatly reduced the amount of money I can make, which also greatly reduced the amount of things I can do. Another thing that makes this whole thing just a complete and utter freaking slog is that after level 20, as a free-to-play person, you get reduced experience. Now they are pretty generous. I will say one thing: they are pretty generous with experience boosts, giving you experience boosts as you progress through the game, especially when you're going through what I guess is their season pass, which is called the seasons or Galaxy seasons or whatever. There we go. Galactic seasons. See, this is pretty much like their battle. I'm assuming this is their battle pass, honestly. Uh, but yeah, you get a lot of experience boosts from this, so it's pretty good. It's still a pain in the fucking ass, but yeah, it's still a massive pain in the ass. So honestly, that's honestly what made this game this not fun anymore. Once you got to level 40, like I said, I did every single quest, every side quest, every heroic, every weekly, every dungeon at least once or twice, and I still ended up at level 40. All right. But yeah, so record this. Honestly, the whole experience boost is nice, but the reduced experience only adds more to the absolute pain in the ass it is to actually level any class as a free-to-play person, with all the limitations that are thrusted upon you. Like I said, I got to level 40 and level 41, and it's such a pain in the ass. It's really boring. Like, maybe if I hadn't already played this entire game storyline up until like probably like last year, I'm sure there's storylines that I haven't really done yet, and that's fine. But as a free to play person, it's just a real pain in the ass to go through it. So moving on to the next thing. It really just pissed me off was that I do not have access to a simple fucking bank, freaking bank, and I feel like that's just petty as hell. Like as a free to play person, you don't even get a simple bank, which is really petty. See, it's so petty, dude. It's so petty. And that also takes away from because I'm a hoarder, right? When I play an MMO and I get into it, I'm a hoarder. Like when I used to play this back when it wasn't free to play, like my viewers would just make fun of me because of how big and clunked my my bank was. There was literally streams where it took me 3 hours or so to organize everything. But yeah, as a free-to-play person in 2025, you're not going to have access to a bank. That's another thing. Uh, Now, moving on to the next thing, next to the bank. Now, I think the default inventory space ends at 3 bars. It's either 3 or 4 bars. But you can buy expansions with money, in-game currency, which is fine. It's relatively cheap until you there is a point where they literally cuck you and say, "Okay, you've had enough freebies. Now you can no longer improve your inventory without being a subscriber." So there is no unlock. There is no unlock to get past it. You can't, bypass this by saving up 1,000,000 credits or anything. There is a point where they literally will not let you buy any more inventory slots without being an actual subscriber. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of the limitations that you have to deal with as a free-to-play person. Now, we've talked about the experience, we talked about the artifact, we talked about the bank and the crafting. Another issue which also limits my experience and things that I can do, and that now, full disclosure, I haven't run into this yet, probably because I haven't actually tried to test it out, but I do know it was a thing uh, back like last year, and that was that you were limited on how many dungeons, how many PvP instances, and how many raids you could do per day to week. So I did not get a chance to test that out because, like I said, honestly, by the time I got to 40, I was done, bro. Like I was just so frustrated. There was no joy. It was just, every time I run into a new limitation, it just really. I think I actually, during this whole playthrough, I think I actually quit 3 times. And I kept telling myself, do it, just do it. But then when I got to level 40, and I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. Let's just make this video. And then, I honestly could not. It's just so boring at this point. So, and that's another thing. The limits, I get some MMOs do actually do that. It's usually a fairly quite normal thing in Eastern MMOs like Chinese and Korean and stuff like that. Um, Now, this isn't really a doubt. This doesn't really have any impact on the progress as a free to play person. It's just something I noted down, and that's you can't. It's probably like one of the most minor things that are a problem. No, it's not a problem, but it's a minor thing. You can't customize your companions in any way, shape, or form as free to play. So there's that. Yeah, so that's that. And, okay, so we're moving on. Here's some. Okay, now the next thing that you cannot do, which doesn't really impact your gameplay, but it does. If you're like me, you like to have everything out. Like I like a lot of hotbars, right? I'm an old WoW player, and I like having everything I can. I like having my potions, my food, my anything I had on one thing. Fast travel stuff, food would all be on my sidebars, on my everything's here, blah 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 blah. You are also limited as a free-to-play person. As you are limited on how many quick bars you can have. That is also another unlock you have to buy through the marketplace, which again. Not a huge thing, but it does hamper the efficiency of one's gameplay and game style, such as myself. Now, I'm going to go here into the market and show you that I'm not lying out my ass about the unlock prices. Here. Cards out market items. Unlocks. Look at this. Oh, this actually went down in price. Okay. It went down in price. That's good. Okay. 8 million. This the custom. This the unified colors. That's another thing. But yeah, control display character titles. Yeah, you cannot display your character titles as well as a free to play person. This is the bank. To unlock the bank at the moment would be 10 million. I have no idea what this is. It's a buff, I guess. But yeah, appearance, devoted disciple. This is a companion mission to unlock the infamous droid. That costs 20 million. More stuff, appearance, 25. See, these are the things I don't mind these being expensive. I don't mind character customization, cosmetics. I don't mind those being expensive. That's given. But I think like it's like the things is like, okay, being able to use anything other than purple gear. Like let's see. Let me see if I can find it. See if anybody's selling it right now. Artifact. There we go. Artifact authorization 525 million. That went up from 350 the other day. Bro, you ain't no one, ain't nobody getting that. Ain't nobody. You're not making that kind of money as a free to play person anytime soon. You are not. You literally cannot make that much money. From what I've asked around, because I joined a guild and I asked them, I said, and there actually used to be a credit cap back when I played before. I don't know if it's still then because I've gone, like I said, I've gone up to like 315, 350, 400, 450, 100K credits, and I haven't been, capped. So I don't know if that cap still exists or if they changed it, but yeah. It was a funny story. Actually, when I first saw this, I honestly didn't see. I was blind. To these three numbers right here. So I honestly thought that's what this was. Because I was like, oh, 350K. Okay, easy. I can get that, And then I got it. I was like, oh, wait, that's million. And I was like, fuck. So yeah, that I was not lying about the prices. Like this is ridiculous. Like ain't nobody playing free to play gonna be able to afford that anytime soon with all the limitations that they have on you. So here's another thing that limits the amount of money you can make. Let's say you do actually get something and you're trying all your avenues you're just starting to sell shit. You're also limited to how many things you can sell on the marketplace, as it says right here, sell slots. 2. You can sell 2 things. Like, let's see. Let's see. I'm just gonna throw some random stuff up there, and we're gonna put it up there, and we're gonna see when they stop me. Let's go. Yep, I can only sell 2 things. 2 things. I can only sell 2 things on the fucking auction house. That's you're not making any money with that either, bro. And this you cannot. This is another thing that you have to buy. And that's the thing. As a free-to-play person, if you're not going to spend any money at all, you are solely reliant on the player base, the player community. You have to rely on someone else to buy that money, to buy that item with their money, their real money, cash money, and put it on the auction house. And then you gotta deal with the absorbent price that they put it at. So you are really cucked as a free-to-play person, honestly. It's and yeah. So that's honestly everything that I've run into and didn't really like at this point. And at this point, it's like it's not even worth playing for me at this point. Now, for the end argument, right? Now, I said it wasn't going to be a simple yes and no question. And that's true. It's not a simple yes, no answer. Because one can argue that, yes, you can literally buy every single upgrade in the game. Well, not every single upgrade, as I showed you. You can buy a good majority of the upgrades in the game unlocks with in-game currency. The problem is getting that currency and then finding it on the auction house. There are things where you are literally forced to subscribe to get, as you saw. Now, another argument would be that yes, you could subscribe, but once you unsubscribe, you go right back to being a broke peasant. So one could say, if you want to play free to play and just spend actual money, buy the unlocks yourself, you could just buy the unlocks that are crucial to your enjoyment. Like for me, it would be the artifact unlocking an artifact and unlocking a class, unlocking the bank, um, maybe unlocking some other things, the inventory space, crucial things that are that cater to your specific play style, and just do that. You're going to miss out on every other aspect that you get from being a sub, which is apparently a monthly allowance of cartel coins and stuff like that, and everything else. But you're literally you're uninhibited. Like you can do anything you want in the game as a sub. Period. There are no limitations. At least that's what it looked like. But like I said, once you stop paying that sub, you go right back to being a peasant. So one could argue, yeah, it's not worth it. In my opinion, it's not worth it playing as a free-to-play person. A strictly free-to-play. It's not. It's really not worth it at all. It's not worth your time. And I think the only people who are playing this game now are like hardcore Star Wars fans who don't have anywhere else to go. Because not a lot of people, even though Star Wars Galaxy still has their private servers, it's not the same. It's not a thriving community with constant updates where you can, it's not the same. A lot of people just want a retail good Star Wars experience that's a multiplayer experience, which we don't have many of those right now. Yes, and this is technically, not technically, but essentially is probably the better word. It's essentially a single player game with multiplayer aspects to it, because it's one of BioWare's old. It's something that BioWare. I don't want to say this, respectfully, of course. It's something BioWare used to be known for, used to be good at, which was storytelling. And that's what you have in this game. A good Star Wars, because the stories are good. Regardless of what class you're playing, the stories are all good. When this game was out, I went through every single class story on my original account, and then I sold it. But the storytelling is really good in this game. That's literally the only thing it has going for it. So, is it worth it playing as a free-to-play person in 2025? Hell no. You're better off just buying what you need to enjoy the game to its fullest. That's ultimately my ending take on this whole experience. It's not worth it at all. And honestly, I feel like if another Star Wars MMO comes out and it's got good combat, good storytelling, and good monetization, I feel like this game is going to die within like a year of that game releasing. Because I honestly think that's the only reason why people play this, is because of nostalgia. They have nowhere else to go. There aren't many Star Wars single player games coming out. Outlaw was a travesty. Battlefront hasn't been good for a while. The only good, I think, outside of The Force Unleashed, I think the best RPG series was the one with the guy with the Joker, who played Joker in Gotham. I forget the name of the game, but it's even though I found the second one really boring, it was still relatively a good game. The one that was like kind of like a Dark Souls type of combat. That's actually what put the company on the map, I think, other than Apex. They're really good games, but it's hard. Apparently, it's hard because there's been so many Star Wars games that have been canceled by EA, and which led to Disney be like, okay, y'all messing around, y'all ain't delivering, all right? So we're gonna, and this is probably the best thing that happened to the Star Wars IP, was I think this happened last year. It was either last year or 2023, where Disney let go of the EA exclusive deal they had on the Star Wars brand for the last decade. And now every company, any company, can make a Star Wars game. And the only two that run off my head is the company who made Detroit Become Human is making a Star Wars game, and Ubisoft is making a Division-like Star Wars game. Unfortunately, I wouldn't hold hopes out for that one because Ubisoft is in a really bad pickle right now. There are talks about how they're probably going to either be sold off to Tencent because they can't get a real good success right now, and a lot of analysts are saying that Assassin's Creed Shadow is a very important game for them. So yeah, that's essentially my entire take on this whole journey, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions about it, or if I misspoke on something, since I didn't get to end game, I'm sure there are some things that I'm not entirely sure about. Feel free to come. You can either say it in the comments below, or feel free to stop by the stream and let me know. Hey, man, I disagreed with what you said about Star Wars on this day, and then we can have a conversation because I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. And I hope I hope to see you guys in the next video or on the stream. Thank you for watching. Bye.